Hi guys, and hello from the hilltop. I'm Waxahachie Blue, and I want to welcome you to my channel, The Plateau Perfectionist. Today's video is my April 2021 plan with me in my Amanda Rach Lee dotted bullet journal. So the theme for this month is the color yellow. More specifically, I also kind of went with a Tuscan rainy day Ghibli theme. Anyway, I'll explain it. So when I was originally deciding what I wanted to do for the yellow theme for April, some of the ideas that I kept coming back to was rainy day, such as, yellow rain boots, the traditional yellow rain jacket you see like on the Morton Salt Kid, as well as some very Tuscany vibes, because a lot of Tuscan architecture and things are done in very warm and yellowish tones, as well as cats. And more specifically, when I was kind of doing some research and things, a lot of the architecture that I was coming across that was really speaking to me wasn't just the Tuscan architecture, but also some of the traditional Ghibli architecture based off of like Howl's Moving Castle, The Cat's Returns, Porco Rosso, which are a few of my personal favorite Ghibli films. So to kind of slap these all together, I created this theme, which is basically this little girl with yellow rain boots and yellow jacket, or not jacket, yellow umbrella. I'm calling her April because it's the month of April, who is actually based off of me. When I was a kid, I had a dress that was very similar to this, and that's pretty much what I looked like, minus the yellow rain boots. And cats, which, Ghibli is very fan of, so there's at least one cat in every picture. And then, of course, if you look real close, the circular building here on the quote page is a very based off of a Ghibli background scene, as well as, some Tuscan yellow vine, and it's all there. I promise it's all there. My drawing style may not be Ghibli, but there is there's some vibes here. Please go with please feel the Ghibli vibes. So something else that I also did for this particular month is I did a no black challenge. So in short, all of my other, videos and things, I always use a black marker for outline. This time, instead of going with the black, I went with a gray. I used my Kuratake Dot markers in a lot of the artwork and stuff. And the dot markers come with a fat side, which you see me here using on the stones, as well as a fine tip, which can be used for outline and writing and things of that nature. So that's what I did. Something else I did was I also incorporated colored pencil, which are my Prismacolor pencils, which I've had for a gazillion million years, as well as, like I said, I used the Kuratake Dot markers, and actually I think that's about all I used, was either the dot markers or colored pencils, and that was all I used. Oh, I did use a couple of Tombows. I used this one green Tombow here to add a secondary green color to my vegetation, and then I also used a kind of like a pastel blue for some of the backgrounds, and yeah, you see here backgrounds and rain type scenes. So the quote for this particular month is, "When life throws you a rainy day, play in the puddles." It looks a little flat right here, but I did eventually go back and rewrite over the play in the puddles part to just kind of make it pop a little more against the white page. It's also by Winnie the Pooh, which is not Ghibli, but I do enjoy I do enjoy a good Pooh Bear. And then, of course, my traditional Scribble Art Style. So as you can see, this was semi-inspired by my love of scribble art, which I will talk about here in a second, but also if when I was doing, again, when I went back to my researching Tuscan type art and architecture, a lot of the things that were coming up were actual paintings, specifically oil and acrylic paintings of Tuscan architecture, as well as kind of that smudgy style that Ghibli is real well known for using in some of its backgrounds. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that into my favorite kind of style of drawing, which I call scribble art, which basically I make a lot of scribbly marks all over my page, and then it ends up turning into art. Which works real well when you're doing something as organic as leaves and flowers and things of that nature. Some of the pages I did go back and add just a couple of like fine-tune lines and things, especially if I was doing vines up the wall or something of that nature, but for the most part I just used the fat part of my Kuratake Dot markers, and that's what I went with to make all of the vegetation. And yes, the little cat that is walking towards April is wearing yellow rain boots, because I didn't want to draw paws, and boots sounded cuter, therefore he has boots. But something I did try to keep consistent is April, and most of things that involve April are done in colored pencil, and then a lot of the background and the vegetation is done with the markers, just to kind of, not necessarily color block, but kind of, you know, this is her, this is background, and then I tried to make it all work together. So one of the things that I saw in a lot of like, Tuscan architecture, I keep going back to that term, but some of the sample inspiration pictures that I was looking at, they had a lot of like chalkboards, flower shops and cafes, they'll have the chalkboard with the menus or whatever they have for sale for the day. So I wanted to do that for the title page here where I wrote the word April. This is the only time I used a super tip to make the chalkboard looking color to the board, and then I used a white jelly roll to write it out. Yes, I know I misspelled, but I did go in and fix it. And honestly, if I didn't say it and you weren't paying attention, you probably wouldn't have even noticed, because I'm that good. No, I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing. Also, you will periodically see my head poke out in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm still trying to figure out a good sweet spot for my setups for my camera, and I had it really high up off the desk, so occasionally you will see a quote-unquote headshot of my head. I do promise I washed my hair before you see it. But yeah. So, I do try to get these videos out about the 20th to 21st of every month. I'm semi-scrambling to get this particular video posted because I was having some technical issues, as well as I had some family come into town. For those of you who are from the American side of the planet, we have what's called spring break, which is basically a week in March where our kiddos and stuff are out of school. And my sister and her kiddo came up here to visit, and of course I managed to get everything filmed before they arrived, but I didn't have enough time to sit down after my work days and whatnots to really, do a lot of editing, so I'm kind of having to scramble edit to get everything, to get this video put together. So if you see me having to kind of cut around and jump in some of my coloring and stuff, I do apologize. This was very art heavy, and so I had a lot to edit. I had a lot to have to cut down, and I tried double timing it so you could see me do all this art, but it was so fast it almost made me motion sick, so I ended up slowing it down. But to kind of compensate time-wise, because this is almost 30 minutes long, I had to cut out a lot of the extra, coloring and things of that nature. So later on in some of the other pictures, you'll see, I'll do the the outlining, and then boom, suddenly April is completely colored. She stays in the same dress for all the pictures, so I'm using the same colors to color her over and over and over again. I didn't think you'd honestly mind. As for what the colors I use on her are, so for her skin tone, I made her, I didn't try to make her any particular ethnicity, because like I said, she is based off of pictures of me when I was little. Like I said, I had this dress, this was my hairstyle when I was a kid, 2-3-year-old type kid. And so I am Caucasian, so she ended up with a Caucasian vibe. And then I do have naturally brown hair and blue eyes. So that is where her particular coloring came from. And then as for the dress, I did have a dress like this. The back is a little different because in my picture it's very open, just because I didn't want to add too much detail to her, because that would just kind of pull away from the kid who's watching the rain shower here. As for all the cats, weirdly enough, I did not have a cat growing up. I had dogs. Well, I had a dog. I had a dog named Ralph. But for some reason, like I said, this was kind of based off of the Ghibli vibe, and when I'm thinking of Ghibli, I think a lot of cats, because there's quite a few cats in many of his movies and whatnot. I mean, heck, even Totoro in and of himself has, the cat bus, as well as he has some mannerisms that are kind of like a cat. And so it just vibed with me better to do cats instead of dogs. Additionally, I had some, not rainy day, but, spring day stickers that had cats on them. You'll see them in some later pages. But that was another reason I was like, well, I don't want to do dogs, I want to do cats. So a lot of the cats I either drew or they were in some sort of sticker form. And yeah. So, by the way, April in of herself is supposed to be based off of me when I was about 3, 4. So sometimes she looks a little bigger because she's supposed to be up close. Sometimes she looks a little smaller because she's supposed to be far away. But that's the general idea of age, and that's why her hair looks so scraggly. I don't know about you, but when I was a 3-year-old, my hair never looked put together, except on Sundays, and that was only for church. So, some of the trackers I decided to do for this particular month, I'd kept some, but I didn't keep some. Let me explain. I don't particularly like mood trackers because I am just not diligent enough to get to them, especially if I have to color something or draw something or whatever. However, one that I really liked was based off of the melted crayon kind of artwork that you see with the umbrella, the silhouette of the umbrella, and it's all raining down. Anyway, so I did 30 days here, and I will do a line going down towards April to kind of represent, how I feel that day, etc., etc. And I have, 4 different colors. A couple of them are blue. I think there's a yellow and a gray as well. So it's going to look like really weird rain, but that's what I kind of felt like doing. Yeah. And then, so the other side, what did I do on the other side? I filmed this. I drew this. I filmed this, and I can't remember. It was, I remember what this is now. So I have those stickers, those calendar stickers. I used it in my Minimalist March as just my, one-page calendar. So something that I will be doing in April is I will be doing a virtual run. After I did my Gordy's Pumpkin run in October, I got, apparently, my information ended up on some of those. The Facebook algorithm found me. And so I kept getting a bunch of these virtual run type, advertisements, that's the word I'm looking for. One of which was to help elephants in Thailand or something. Anyway, I thought it was really neat. Plus, it's put out by Yes Fit. and I went ahead and signed up for it. But it's a longer run. It's a virtual run, basically, for all the steps that I do in a day, or if I go out and designate a specific whatevers, I can use those to count towards my virtual run, as well as I've also been working on my yoga, and so this particular tracker is for walk and yoga, just to kind of hold myself accountable for getting those two done in the month of April. On top of that, because of income tax returns and all that other stuff, I wanted to go ahead and include a 2-page rolling total budget tracker instead of just a 1-page. I burned through my 1-page rolling total budget tracker in March by like the 15th. So apparently I am just doomed. I am doomed to have a rolling total 2-page spread for the rest of all eternity, even on my most minimalist of months. Nah. Although, to be fair, the required versus want tracker that I had in my March spread, which if you haven't seen it, go see it. That one worked like a charm. That was kind of an eye-opener. And I liked that one. It really helped show ownership of what was required spending, such as bill paying, student loan bill payoff, etc., and what was just willy-nilly freebie spending, because as we all know, like I said, income tax season, I got my tax return, I paid off some stuff, there you go. So, on to my weekly spreads. Since the first and last week of April are really short, I kind of used that to my advantage and had printed off some of my inspiration picks and used them in this particular spread. It only gave me a little bit of space to actually draw, or not draw, but for when I fill out my days. But that's fine with me. I actually don't write all that much in my bullet journal for my daily to-dos, for my weeklies and all that things. So having just this little bit of space, because it's taken up by a large picture, doesn't bug me. If you want to write more, by all means, make your spaces bigger. But it also got me a chance to, like I said, use some of my inspiration pictures, and then add some cats, because you have to have cats apparently. On this particular page, this one came out pretty neat, I think. So I had this little quote. I originally had it where the Winnie the Pooh quote was, but I liked the Winnie the Pooh one better, so I put this quote here, which is, happiness is a rainy spring day full of new growth and endless possibilities. And then what I ended up doing was, a couple of my inspiration picks were actually stickers, and they were a certain size, so I filled in the negative space with my yellow colored pencil, and then added these, this bush here at the bottom, the sleeping cat, and then vines. So they're kind of like windows for my spaces for my dailies. It all comes together towards the end, but this was actually probably my favorite spread. It's so simple, just the yellow on the background, the green for the vines and the plant life, and then a brown to kind of make the frames for the windows, and voila, you have a Tuscan building complete with picturesque mountainside view here, and plenty of space for me to write down what I need to do for the day. And I don't know if this particular spread really speaks to me, and I hope you like it too, because this is my favorite one. Something else I also did was I cut out just a little bit of each of the edges of the pages for my weeklies, so I could have these little tabs to kind of show week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So if I need to, I can flip back and forth. As for this particular spread, like I said, since I found out I really don't need an excessive amount of space to write stuff, I kind of cut down and had these little edge pieces here. So April's on one side holding a kitten in a basket, and then of course I did some drawing on the other side. I think it looks darling. So I tried to make all the cats look different. I did that for a reason. I'm not very good at drawing cats. Don't be fooled by my art skills here. The cats take practice, my friends. Cats are very fluid in their movements, and sometimes it's a hit or a miss of whether they actually look like cats or if they look like not cats. So that's why you'll see like this one's peeking out of a basket, so I didn't have to draw the body, I just had to draw the head. The other one on the first page wore boots because I'm not very good at drawing paws. See where I'm going with this. And then, of course, the plants and all this other stuff. And my colored pencils kept rolling into my shot. So sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Depends on how I edited the footage. But yeah, but at least April likes cats. I like cats too, but April likes them much better. So I think yes. So I went ahead and did all of my weeks, and I actually have an extra page at the end of April where I will be doing an Easter spread. I don't know if I will do it live stream on Instagram or something of that nature, but anyway, I have a special page that I'm going to do for Easter. I did one for Valentine's Day and I really enjoyed it, so I will do one again for Easter. Something else I also liked to do was I had these yellow and orange geometric stickers that I ended up using for writing the dates and things on. Okay, so week 4. This one actually doesn't have much to do with rain, but it has a lot to do with April. I had this stupid sticker of a cat reading a book, and so naturally this entire spread was based off of the cat sticker with the cat reading the book. So naturally, April is reading a book too, and naturally, like any proper 3-year-old, she is doing so in a blanket fort. Because I don't know about you, but I, even to this day, enjoy a good blanket fort. Pillow forts, not so much. They collapse too easy. I prefer a blanket fort. But yeah, so you see, cat, it perfect. They work so perfect together. I really did like how my colored pencil flowed so well with the marker, and it flowed so well with the stickers, and despite all these different medias, they looked so good together. Oh, and then, there's a red version of the Pixar lamp, because, Ghibli, Pixar. No mice. I didn't add a mouse. I did have a reference to Winnie the Pooh, which is Disney. Does that count? I'm going to count it. Anyway. And then here's the window seat again. I actually didn't have a window seat when I was growing up. This was totally off the cuff of my head. But I will say this, when I was a kid, I had a twin-size bed that was shoved up underneath a huge window in my bedroom, and I would use it, both, I would sit there and read, or, sleep, because it was a bed, or sit there and watch the rain. Like I said, April is based off of me. And even the polka dots here on the wall, my mom had sponge painted my bedroom walls. And they didn't have these exact colors, but that was kind of what inspired me in this particular respect. But a lot of this was based off of me. So, there you go. But yeah, I did a lot of drawing in this. I really did a lot of drawing. But it still all worked together. So cool. Cool. And of course, writing the dates in. So, like I said, the last week in April only had just a few days, so to kind of fill up the extra space and to use up some of the last little tidbits of items that I had, I ended up doing the bottom half of the right page as kind of a quote-unquote mood board. I will also apologize. I don't know if it translates. Excuse me, I kind of burped there. I don't know if it translates this to YouTube, but for some reason, my editing software kind of froze right here, and so it cuts out the part of me drawing the plants that are sitting on these brown shelves. They're supposed to be shelves. I don't know why it did that. I really don't. It's something to do with my editing software. I ended up having to export this video 3 times, and it took me all freaking afternoon, and it still ended up doing this. So if it looks like I'm not doing anything, I apologize. But trust me, I did stuff because the plants spontaneously appear. This is, I think, the only one that I don't have April in, other than the Tuscan one with the windows. This was just, me and plants and cats, because cats and plants. But yeah, I also accidentally realized that I had not made 5 spaces, I only made 4. So that's why instead of having a full right page as the mood board, there's one day on, the Friday the 30th is on the right page, and then the rest of it will be the mood board. These plants are not particularly any kind of plant. They're just plants. And no, I don't know what that cat's going to do with that plant. But I think we all have a general idea of what that cat's going to do with that plant. Don't do it. It's a trap. But yeah. So, plants and cats and little girl with yellow rain boots, because why not? Hopefully you can kind of pick up on that general, April rain, new growth, new beginnings kind of vibe here. Does that make sense? I ended up using a lot more colors than just yellow, but I tried to make sure that there was at least some yellow in every single page. In the meantime, next month will be green and May, so I'm going to try to do a different theme, not necessarily like house plants and things. There will be plants. It's green. There will be plants. But I already kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do for that particular month. It is also my birthday is in May, so I may do something for that one, as well as Mother's Day. Coincidentally, my birthday is on Mother's Day this year, so I'm going to be trying to do something special with me and my mom. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed watching me draw a little girl in yellow rain boots over and over and over again, and filling my pages full of green plants and rain, and just some hopefully some April vibes. So here's the final flip through. Remember, when life throws you a rainy day, play in the puddles and listen to Winnie the Pooh. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching my video today. Thank you to all of my subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, please do, or at the very least hit that like button down below. I try to at least get 1 video out a month, which is my plan with me, just because I do have a full-time job plus some secondary jobs that keep me very busy. You can find me here on YouTube at the Plateau Perfectionist. I'm also on Instagram with the same name, but with underscores in between each word. I also have a Facebook page, which is, again, the Plateau Perfectionist, and then a website, theplateauperfectionist.com. See y'all next month. In the meantime,